Tell me, why does it sound so easy to breathe? On TV, I can't see why it sounds so easy to breathe.
Well, hello again.
Hi.
We got bored. We were gonna originally review Spark Shorts from Pixar, but their Lightyear trailers have been such trash that I couldn't bear to watch that. So we decided to just pick out some random ones we found on YouTube because they're all over the place.
Is that the reason we're agreeing on?
Thank you for lying, making me out to be a liar in front of everybody.
Because you are, because you didn't debrief me on that.
I know, but we just decide on a random one. I'm sure there's some fancy fucking film festival that's showing shorts. We'll learn. We'll learn how to watch ones. For now, we just picked out some random ones. I was on HBO Max and YouTube. Did you use any special streaming service?
No, I mostly just used YouTube.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start off because I was on HBO Max with some friends. We were watching random shit. And I was really just doing my own thing, and I was surfing, and I saw something called OPAL, and it had like a claymation person on it. And I was like, hey.
Oh, by Jack Stauber?
Jack Stauber, yeah.
It's Jack Stauber.
He made that wrestling video that the entire planet has seen. It had a good song on it. Buttercup, yeah. And I didn't know it was Jack Stauber. When I saw him in the credits, I thought that was familiar, but yeah, this is definitely the age of YouTubers getting to make cool stuff for big companies.
Because I had no idea his stuff was like on HBO.
Yeah, it was on
like
HBO
that.
Max.
Yeah, and I remember watching Opal on like YouTube and everything else.
I think Adult Swim might have produced it.
Yeah, he does make a lot of Adult Swim stuff.
Anyway, yeah, I saw the claymation and I thought it was really cool. Because I'm just a big slut for anything that's like claymation or stop motion in general. So much effort. And I was like, hey, 12 minutes. And then it ended up feeling like it was like 30 minutes long. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it felt unbelievably long. Like if there was like 18 musical numbers, there was like 42 like horror segments. It was just like, it felt really weird. But it was so well paced that it almost felt like it was so much longer than the 12 minutes. And
that's great for a short film.
Yeah. It was really good. Because that's why I said in the best way, because sometimes shit can just drag, but
yeah,
it seamlessly fucking just switched between like genuinely kind of disturbing, weird horror to really bopping like musical numbers. Like I was like, yeah, this is like a good jazz piece, and then all of a sudden you're back into the horror.
I don't know if I've watched all of Opal because I've watched so many of Jack Stauber like videos and stuff that. You know, a lot of them kind of blur together a little bit, but not in a bad way, but like he just has such a distinct style that it's like
I really liked, in Opal there was a variety of different animation styles and even full-on puppetry or just using your gloves, which gave it an Adult Swim feel where it's like trembling hands with gloves on come into frame and stuff like that. But overall it's just about like a little girl seeing across the street a forbidden house, and it's just, she's not allowed to go in there. Shenanigans afoot of the spooky variety, and you should check it out. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely got those moments of like, alright, yeah, I get it. You're indie, whenever something indie tries to go for something non-conventional, it can either pull it off perfectly, or it does it really badly, but in the middle of those two it's pretty interesting and fun, but then sometimes you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Can we move past this little pretentious segment and just watch the cool stuff again? And there's a lot of, like, up to your own interpretation type of stuff in there. Like, I'm sure there's tons of allegories. I'm sure there's tons of, like, Opal explained by MatPat on fucking YouTube and shit.
That type of stuff is always a little hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with stuff being open for interpretation, but I don't like it when it's aimless.
Aimlessness is something that annoys me. I don't know. It didn't feel like any specific thing. I mean, I'm sure it flew over my head. I'm no academic, but overall, like, I remember my friends were like, "Oh my god, that was pretentious." But like I felt like a fucking hipster asshole because like I loved it. I loved a lot of it, and I hope he keeps making shit. I hope they keep funding him, because he had a lot of interesting visuals, and he mixed a lot of different animation styles, and it was just, he nailed, whether or not he had like that interesting a story to tell, either conventionally or non-conventionally, like, it was really fun to watch, and it felt longer than it was. Like, he got so much done in so little time. And that's about as much as you could want, so
Yeah.
pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, I recommend Opal. What have you watched recently?
I watched a short that kind of actually kickstarted this idea, because I was like, I kind of want to like cover shorts on this like
Yeah,
show
the real
or
reason it wasn't just Lightyear's
Yeah.
terrible trailer.
yeah.
I didn't even watch that. I was just lying.
It was a short film called Fueled by, I believe it was KilledtheCat production. I don't know this was like the individual names. I just know that was the channel that uploaded it, and I think it was like the studio that did it.
Okay.
And it was just like really great, and it kind of hit all of the beats that were good in short films, in the fact that it gives you all the information that you need in such short amount of time, because you know it's such a short length that they just give you everything you need, and it still does it really effectively, like whatever story it's trying to tell. And yeah, it was just really emotionally charged too, for such
What was it
a
about?
short film. It's about this housewife who had her husband murdered, and she basically gets hell-bent on like trying to find the guy who did it. And
When you said had her husband murdered, I thought she put a hit out on him.
No.
Like her husband was murdered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her husband was murdered by this guy who like broke into their house and stuff. And so she's trying to like basically find him. And it's called Fueled because the event of the short film is like when she runs out of gas on her like road trip or whatever. And like she has no money, she finds a gas station, and she's basically trying to steal gas. And all the events of that culminate in that in her trying to get gas for her car. Like, you really feel for the characters, and they're cats, by the way. They're animal characters.
Oh, so it's like a not a furry, the anthropomorphized.
Yeah, anthropomorphized. They're like,
okay.
That's why it's called KilledtheCat production, I assume.
Oh, okay. How was it like full on? You gave me terminology from your furry friends where it's like, are their legs up like that, or are they like flat-footed?
I don't remember their legs actually.
But did you get a furry feel from it, or
I don't think they were digi. No, they looked like Animal Crossing almost.
Chibis? Like little
Yeah,
chibis?
chibi animal characters.
That's
basically.
not what I expected from a murder.
Yeah,
I guess
like,
the juxtaposition could be kind of scary or shocking.
They do it really well, because it's like the thing is, it's not just the like scary murder stuff. It's like they keep constantly switching between like the housewife's like actions, like her stealing the gas, her like doing this awful thing, her losing herself in this search essentially, and then they keep switching it back to like the actual soft and kind moments of like her time with her husband, how they met, how they like their lives together.
Yeah.
And it's like the style is very versatile, so like it works both ways. And I know I hearkened it back to like Animal Crossing style, but it's like it's not specifically that. Like there's a lot of variety in it, and like the pig character that runs the gas station in it, he's like a little ugly, so it's like, hey.
So what was unique about it?
What was unique was that even though the story was simple and like it's been done like quite a few times, because like it's a revenge story, it's
like spouse got murdered, child got murdered kind of type of story.
Yeah, now she's like going out and driving, finding it. Like, this film could have literally been, like, a number of scenes. It could have been anything from her just driving, her just doing, in general, a lot of bad stuff to a lot of people, and like, having the message be like, oh, she's losing herself in it, and then she randomly, like, figures it out at the end.
The classic, all vengeance is wrong, all revenge will lead to self-destruction kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's a million movies already. But in But, like, as the title of the short film is, it's called Fueled, and it's just this one slice in her hunt that kind of culminates into everything. It's literally just about her trying to get gas. That was all it was. And yet, it perfectly encapsulates, like, everything that had led up to that point in her life. And it makes it feel more unique than any other story that's like that, because how many revenge stories do you see where it's like the reason the moment the protagonist realizes that they are wrong in their ways is like when they're trying to get gas.
Like how many different types of revenge stories focus on a slice of life getting gas mundanity kind of thing.
It's not that mundane. It's definitely wild, but it's just the fact that it's something as small as her just trying to get gas
that even that has to be an event.
Yeah, exactly.
In a situation like that.
We don't need to see, like, everything else. We got to see, like, the part that is unique to her story, which is the part where she gets gas.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
I guess up next is mine. This was one that I watched a while ago. It was called Timber. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you too back then.
Yeah, I remember. It was the one with the logs.
With the logs, yeah. The art style was, like, fine. Not to be condescending, but, like, it's fine, you know. It looks kind of, like, scrappy. It looks a little, like, sketchy. Colors are fine. It's a single location kind of thing, so it didn't have to be something extravagant. But overall, like, it really just focused on the actions that's going on. It didn't need to have some weird flourish of Ghibli magic or anything like that. And it starts off with a bunch of pieces of wood. They're all different sizes. Some are logs, some are twigs, some are just branches, and stuff like that. And at one point, one of them gets cold, and the other one notices, and he rips off a little piece of himself to start a small fire for all of them. And then it's like a wholesome little moment, you know. It's like when you're in danger or you're scared, and you kind of make eye contact with a stranger, and you guys are kind of like together for that moment. If you've ever been in like a situation like that, it's just like okay, you know, we'll get this figured out. But just like in everything else with humans, kind of goes to shit real quickly. The stronger, there's like a strong piece of like fucking like a big bitch. What do you call it? Like a log, stuff solid.
Trunk.
Yeah, like a solid like log. And he wants to like take more wood by force from the others, like just to start a bigger fire.
Even though he's the biggest.
Yeah, even though he's the biggest, and everyone was already contributing like little parts of themselves enough to the point that there was already enough. They didn't need more firewood, but they still push another one down and start like breaking off a piece of his like head to like get more wood. And in the struggle, one that seems like the older like of them all, the eldest of them all, is like a tree trunk, and the smallest is like a little twig. Like they both start trying to stop the big guy, and now he's starting, like someone else jumped on his bandwagon just to be on his side, you know, as people always do. Like, you join up with a bully and maybe he won't hurt you. And even though they're helpless, I mean, they're old, and one of them's tiny, they're not going to be able to do anything. But it's like, it's admirable. You see those little like twigs, and it's just like sci-fi or any other story. It's like just an easy way to like, it's an easy way to swallow a situation without having to see humans. Because when you see people doing stuff like that, it gets scary quicker for some people. And then in the whole hustle, they kind of push over the older guy that's a lot thicker, the tree trunk. And at that point, there's a roaring fire. That's an entire body in the fireplace, in the fire pit. And it's still not enough. They still continue to rip off the head of the other guy. And the little dude keeps trying to help, but he can't do anything. You know, he's little. And then it cuts to later, and they're like full on just sitting on the guy they tore off the head from. And it just reminds me of like the power trips people go on immediately after like they get their way. Like in any way, like politically or in a conversation or just through brute strength. people start power tripping on the smallest amount of power.
Someone who gets promoted to manager in like
yeah,
a
somebody
convenience store or something.
The manager of a Michaels, yeah. Like somebody like they just trip on it, and then by the end, they do manage to take down the bigger guy, like the little dude,
the trunk.
Yeah, and like we watched these. Well, I watched mine a few days ago, and I'm kind of forgetting, and I don't want to spoil all of it. Like it is a review, but still, it's good to leave a little bit. But in taking everybody down, at the end of the day, like, the only one left is the little guy. Everyone else is burning. And then he just went to sleep, he woke up, and all he saw were the corpses of everybody. In the middle of broad daylight, when he wakes up, he realizes there was a forest not too far away. And there's already... Yeah, and there's people already, like, lumberjacks and giant machines taking them down to, like... I don't know, it's just, like, I'd like to think that the whole thing was just, a metaphor for taking more than we need always for everything. Like you walk into a Michaels and you see like the entire alphabet in wood. Who the fuck needs that? Nobody's gonna want that. Yeah. And it's just like we don't do it.
And I have to alphabetize them.
This is not about your trauma at Michaels. You get over that on your own time. But yeah, it's always taking more than you need. It's always abusing people that you don't need to abuse, or not wanting to contribute yourself and wanting to take more from others so that they can compensate for you. And it's just, there's so many little things in there, and I just think it was a really nice, meaty little, message in like 5 minutes or something? That's another thing about shorts. They're very, once you watch one, it's like chips. Yeah. It's also like murder. Once you have one, you can't have enough. You need more.
I don't think...
Yeah, they've said that about murder. I forgot what I was watching that it said murder's like chips. If once you get one, you can't have enough.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
You can't stop, yeah. But, like, I guess, like, if you were gonna go on a little marathon, like, these are some to put on your list, Yeah. Well, I don't know if all of yours are good, but so far, I'd say, like... These two are worth putting on a little marathon for shorts. Because it's good to see what's out there that isn't just like some exhausting 3-hour experience where like Batman's like fucking Catwoman for like 20 minutes. And it's just like, meh. And like, I'm just tired. I'm very tired of watching very long things. Because everything's long. I watched like an Ike Harley video. It was like fucking 8 hours long. Like, what the fuck's going on, man? Like, they're good, but like...
Sometimes you want a bite size.
Yeah, we need some lean media. We need something that restricts itself and adheres to some sort of reality. Like, if you keep throwing money at everything, it's just gonna keep getting longer and longer. Like, that Batman movie was 3 hours. Does any Batman movie ever need to be 3 hours long? Come on now. Like, that's just, like, so self-indulgent. It's just, like, I don't know. I just love shorts, so far... I'm glad we're getting some good ones, because I'll watch yours after this.
Yeah, and I'll watch yours.
Yeah. So, I don't know, what's yours? What's after the Fueled?
Mine is a film called Bounty. I don't fully remember the name of the person who made it, but I do remember they also made, like, another semi-famous short film, like, years and years ago, called Noose. It's not as depressing as that sounds. Mm-hmm.
Was it like a one-person like project?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny that you mentioned the, like, timber being a little rough around the edges in terms of animation. Because, like, I feel like this film is kind of the same. Where it's like if there was a stat chart on like short films, like it would be maxed out in everything else, and then style would be like a little bit on the low end.
They emptied style and then put it into everything else.
Not that the artist is like bad or whatever. Cause I've seen their like more completed like channel work, and like it's one of those things where it's like illustration versus animation. When you simplify a work, it's like different.
Yeah, plus a one person like project.
Yeah, for
pretty
sure.
Heavy.
So they like simplified it to like a lot of degree that I kind of sacrificed quality a little bit. Yeah. Like the character designs were not my favorite with the way they're drawn, but boy are they charming. Like everything else about that film is so good. I just really like the story, and it's like again, the dialogue is super charming. It's very dialogue heavy, which is
like voice acting.
Yeah, so which is not a thing that a lot of short film has.
Well, usually they are pretty silent. Yeah. So.
So it's always nice to see one that's like just talk heavy, and the story is basically about this dad and his daughter. It's like Father's Day, and she like makes him a breakfast, and it's like charred. It's like, you know, disgusting.
Yeah.
It's bad. She did
her
her best.
Kid cooking.
Yeah. And you know, the majority of the short film is just basically him talking with her, and they're just having a nice little conversation over him making breakfast for her and like showing her how to properly do it. And it's like a nice little moment. And she like, the dad gets like a letter or something from the girl's uncle, his brother, whatever. And it's like a wanted poster. And the girl doesn't understand what that is, obviously. She is like, why is this man for sale? and like, you know, so he's just trying to like explain it to her as gently as he could. It's like, oh, you know, I used to catch bad guys who did bad things, and then I stopped for whatever reason. Because, you know, who knows why we do anything or whatever.
And plus, you don't want to be a bounty hunter when you have a kid.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's just a really pleasant conversation. It's one of those great things where it's like someone trying to gently speak to a child and like kind of sanitizing the harsh reality to like into a bite-sized thing for her to be able to understand it, but also not be exposed to like the gross stuff of it.
Yeah. Plus, it's always that's why I love stuff like Star Trek or you know, like morality questions.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have to simplify it to a point where even you have to discover what you're really saying. Because it's easy to hide behind complex organizations and stuff like that. But at a certain point, like especially when you explain something to a child, you do not get the privilege of them knowing the world. So you have to kind of introduce all these concepts as gently as you can. So yeah, I love that kind of thing.
and again, because like the backgrounds are really well painted, the atmosphere of like the animation is top notch, even if the character animation isn't all that well done. But like this person really does know how to paint backgrounds. They really know how to build atmosphere, because the music and stuff is great too. Because they do that like cool switching thing where it's like between him talking on this calm, nice breakfast and like the flashbacks to his like old job and stuff like that.
Like when he was bounty hunting?
Yeah, when he was bounty hunting.
Oh.
And
it's kind of similar to the fuel thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things where it's like the adult always has complex explanations and like a very roundabout way of talking, whereas the child, it's like it's just so much simpler for them. They're like, well, you stop because you're a good person, or like this and that, or like whatever else.
Yeah.
And it's like for them, it's such a complex and like hard to process thing, and for them, it's just simple. It's just easy explanation, and it's like at the end of the day, sometimes a simpler explanation is all you need. And also, the entirety of the story is just really good. Like just the way it was presented, and there's like a nice little thing at the end that's pretty neat. And, you know, not to spoil it, but it's a pretty good one, for sure.
Nice. Well, going from a what seems to be a pretty nice, happy little story, we go to the complete opposite, a very depressing, awful fucking situation, which is something that could feasibly completely happen in real life. It's called The Man in the Woods.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, you told me when I was looking at my notes that pretty much the basis is a greedy little kid is in the playground. He doesn't like to share, and when they all go to pick out flowers and you know, mess around with the bushes and stuff, he hates that the other kids are there too. So he starts making up a lie that there's a man in the woods, and then all of the kids are scared. And nobody but him is brave enough, air quotes, to go there to get more flowers. So now he has the whole thing to himself. But it doesn't focus on the child, it actually focuses on the teacher. It's like, it's the teacher having to deal with the repercussions of this child's complete lie, and how his life completely falls apart because of the self-righteousness and complete, like, not to say it in like a sexual way, but it's like a child fetish that people have. The whole world
I know what you mean. Like the whole this kid is innocent. They can do no wrong.
The world has a child fetish. It has an obsession with children. It's too much.
Children can do no wrong.
Children can do no wrong. They do not have to be taught because they're already pure and perfect, and you cannot correct them, especially if they're not yours. Like it's just I don't know. It's like it's a suffocating kind of reality we live in, where like, and we're starting to see it transition from not just children but to other people and stuff like that. But that's a whole other political mess. Right now, it's just about this short, and we see this man who, in complete rhyme throughout the whole thing, which was really fucking cool.
Yeah, the almost slam poetry-esque.
Yeah, slam poetry is the perfect word for it. Like he slams down like all the things that went on and all the fucking
pun intended.
Yeah, all the people that like led to what happens at the very end, and I think to properly review something like this, you do have to spoil it because that's the whole message. So watch it, but skip to this next part if you want to skip to Jordan's next short. But at the end of the day, like his entire life is destroyed. Like they took his prime away from him. He cared about kids. He cared about them. He wanted to help them. He wanted to teach them. That's so rare nowadays with how badly teachers get treated. In America, we're from the US, by the way, if you can't tell from our accents. Our fucking accents that we apparently do not have. That don't exist. But like at the end of the day, it's that thing where it's like, if you're literally gonna give me no chance, I'm never gonna be able to fix this. You decided what I did already, that I failed to find this imaginary predator in the woods, then I'll fulfill your fantasy for you. I will play the part. And it's just like, well, that's what I saw, Yeah. And then at the very end, we see a really hard, like, great shot where it's like right down the middle is the woods, and then on one side is a little shit kid picking flowers, and on the left side is the teacher reaching into his coat for what seems like it's gonna be a gun, and the little kid like looks up and he's really scared, but in like an awful way. You're almost satisfied seeing it, and it's like it makes you feel terrible. Like it made me feel awful that I was like, yeah, like good. But then then that passes because you're like, I wasn't mad at the kid. He's a kid. It's a little baby ass kid. Like he just wanted to pick flowers by himself. But like because of the world's self-righteousness, because of the world's lack of wanting to accept, there's complexity. Accountability. Yeah, like everything, like a lack of accepting grayness. Everything. Like immediate action taken on people without investigations or anything happening. Like immediate condemnation. Could lead to a tragedy like this, where a teacher who loved teaching children, who his life got so fucked that he just wanted to kill the child that started it all. When that child could have just been a normal kid if the world around him wasn't so, like, again, so self-righteous and not wanting to take accountability for its action. That kid's parents didn't want to teach their kid. They didn't want to deal with the idea that he's not perfect.
Couldn't even ground him for a little bit.
They couldn't even ground him. They couldn't talk to him. They couldn't... You grill that little kid, genuinely grill him for a little bit in a principal's office. Because when I was little, I got so scared being in a principal's office. I was like, fucking, this is the end of the world. I'm fucked. Like, I'm going to jail after this. But, like they couldn't even do that. They just immediately... It's easier to destroy someone's life than it is to have a conversation. And when I saw him reaching for that gun and feeling like I understood him, that was like horrifying. That's sad.
Yeah.
You can understand someone wanting to kill a kid, and it's like, yeah, it was his fault, but it wasn't at the same time. And it was just interesting to watch that,
And also, it's because it's not just the man. Kids were scared. From this tall tale. That was the whole reason why it ballooned up so much. Like,
yeah, because all the parents were hearing from their kids, there's a stranger in the woods. If I was a parent, I'd be freaked the fuck out.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, no, and like, kids were scared because of this one other kid just made up a lie, and like, the parents of that kid just couldn't, like, get him to admit it, or like, get him to, like, hey, say.
They just immediately sided with him.
Yeah.
Just immediately.
Like, this kid could never tell a lie.
Yeah, he's my son. How could he?
Yeah. And based on this lie, not only did a man, like, basically lose his entire life, like, just children and parents were just scared. There was, like, just a whole fear and thing.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Especially nowadays with how, like, bad, like, school shootings and all that.
Absolutely.
It's fucking, like, wow. That's...
So it's like, it wasn't just the man. It was, like, literally everything else around it. It's like...
Yeah, that's good.
Have a conversation with the kid.
Yeah, like, you forget about, like, it's not just his life. Like, his life represents, like, everybody's life. How affected everyone's lives can get from just one fucking kid telling a lie because he wants to be by himself and be greedy, and no one correcting him. Like, that guy's life, who knows how many other people were affected that deeply. Like, the other children, other parents. Like, you can lose sleep, and that can lead to serious problems, and, like, the butterfly effect is fucking horrifying. It's scary. You think back to things you've done, and you're like, holy shit. So, yeah, that short was pretty powerful, and when you realize that it's been rhyming the entire time, I love when that happens, when you're like, oh shit, this has been rhyming. Like, I have to start this video over. This has been rhyming the entire time.
Yeah, that's always so good. And
I love that shit.
That's always why I like slam poetry as well, because they're able... Because when done correctly, they're able to do that in, like, a very specific rhythm and beat, and in a rhyming pattern that you don't even notice it right away.
It's borderline, like, it almost, like, the best slam poetry sounds like spoken word.
Exactly.
And it's like, damn, I didn't even notice.
And like, but it's still doing the slam poetry thing in which it's keeping your brain, like, tuned into it.
Yeah.
It's like your brain doesn't even realize it. It's like, man, why am I hanging off of every word? And it's because it's like, it's fulfilling, like, pattern. Your brain sensing pattern is like, yes!
Your brain noticed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, overall, the art was fine. It was pretty similar to it was pretty similar to Timber, where it's like, it was what it needed to be. It was decent. It wasn't anything crazy. Like, there were some things that were pretty, you know?
I think I disagree with you, if I'm remembering it correctly, because you watched these recently for this video, and I haven't watched in a while. But, like, if I remember it correctly, I remember it having, like, a lot of cool colors and
there were a lot
really
of good
nice
colors.
Shading and lighting.
I don't remember the shading, but the lighting and the colors were pretty good. Like, they were striking. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's fine. It's not like... I always want to make sure not to, like, overdo the praise for any animation, because, like, I do have a heavy bias with animation, because I just like it more than I do live action, and I kind of give them passes very easily or overpraise them. And this one was like, you know, the character design was fine. Like, the animation on them was a little, like, kind of rough. Like, when he was, like, moving around, or characters are moving around. The facial expressions are fine. Like, those are pretty good. The colors, the lights, the composition was really good. It's like, borderline, like, it felt very comic booky when it's just, like, comic books break up, like, the visuals in a really interesting way where you're just like, oh my god, like, this is actually happening. So overall, I don't know, it was a really powerful one. It was probably my second favorite, all the ones that I watched. And, yeah. I'm surprised you watched that too. I don't know, is it one of those that has, like, 20 million and I didn't notice?
I think so.
Probably.
Maybe it did, but I also did watch it, like, years ago when it was starting to get popular, I think.
Okay.
Like it just dropped on YouTube, and then it was, like, infiltrating everyone's recommended.
Yeah, good shorts do that. They just, like, randomly, it's like, it's a bite-sized piece of, like, amazing entertainment, and then you can just move on with your day.
Yeah, for sure.
And, yeah, we need more of that. It's too bad coronavirus killed Quibi. That could have saved us all. Quibi aside, I remember this short was
Stop saying that joke, it's not good.
But Quibi is not good. Like, well, I'm glad it's dead. Alright, what's the other short you watched?
Okay.
We both watched 5.
This film that I watched was called Insert French Voice Here, which translates to My Friend Who Shines in the Night. And it's an animation that was posted by... How do you pronounce it? Goblins?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking. I don't know. You're looking at me like as if I can see this.
Goblins? It's the people who uploaded, like, the Blind Eye and, like, Sundown.
Oh, those guys. I
don't know how to pronounce it either.
Blind Eye was pretty great. That's another good short.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, it's from the people who uploads those type of videos. I don't know the specific name of the person who animated it, because, you know, it's in French, and I can't pronounce it, clearly. But it was a very nice and, like, calming film. It was like a little pocket dimension of, like, just tranquility.
Like a slice of life thing, or?
Yeah. Well, kinda. Sorta. It's like one of those films, or like one of those things that just have mundaneness and supernatural, which I always love.
Yeah, like magical realism.
Yeah. It's a story about a ghost who got struck by lightning. Yeah, it's a ghost who got struck by lightning on their way to, like, the afterlife or wherever ghost
unlucky
goes.
Can you be?
Yeah, exactly. And they, like, basically fell to the ground, and then they're just grounded, and they just don't know how to get there anymore, or like what they're supposed to
Back
be.
onto the escalator to heaven.
Yeah,
or, like in Tom and Jerry.
And this guy finds the ghost, basically, and they're like, hey, are you okay? You're gonna catch a cold out there, or like whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, they basically learn that, oh, it's a ghost, and this and that. And,
oh,
like,
it's a ghost.
yeah, and, like, he genuinely, like, earnestly tries to help this ghost. He's like, do you remember who you were when you were alive? Do you remember how you died? And, like, he even took him to, like, the doctors and stuff like that.
Get this ghost check.
A little ghost examination.
I'm sorry to say, your patient's dead, sir. What did the ghost look like? Was it like a Casper thing, or
it
like
was a bedsheet ghost type of
like
type
a
of design.
full-on like Charlie Brown?
Yeah, and it was
sheet
super
thing?
cute.
That's cute.
And it was just like a really adorable type of, like, journey. Like, there wasn't, like, any sense of urgency. There wasn't, like
you were just watching a story happen in life.
Yeah.
It wasn't some weird like world-ending event. It was just like a moment, I guess.
And it was like, you know, the entire film was like nice and calm and quiet. And, you know, they almost talk in, like, almost hushed tones.
Really?
Yeah. It's almost like you're catching a conversation, like, in the distance or whatever.
Like you're peeping on them.
Yeah.
Or you're at the bus stop.
And the ghost has such, like, a nice, chill, like, feminine voice, and it's just it's so nice.
Like relaxing.
It's relaxing, yeah. And again, it's one of those films where it's like you turn it on and it's like you're in a different world, because it's like, you know, the atmosphere, the animation, the music, and even the colors. It just feels like its own little world, so when you watch it, you just feel like you're a part of it for just, like, a few minutes, and then it's over. And it's like a really nice little thing. I also like that it's not really, like, a moral or, like, a big arc or whatever, because, like you said, it's like a story happening in real life. There's no message at the end. It's like,
yeah, someone's motorcycle breaking down in front of your house and you help taking them to Walmart and helping them out didn't end with you becoming a different person.
Exactly.
It's just a sting that happened.
It was just a cute little mundane story, and it's like it had some nice little moments. Like there was a moment where the ghost was, like, watching a funeral for, like, some other random person.
Yeah.
And they were just like, man, why is it so easy for them, and why am I still here, and stuff like that? Why is it so hard? And the dude literally just said, hey, you're just taking your time, and that's okay. And it's like, that's like the most mundane answer to a ghost who can't pass on.
Yeah. It's
just so nice. And it's like, it's just very tranquil and stuff. There's not really much to say about the story, because it's just a story in the best way possible. Like, it's just, it's not trying to be anything else. It's just showing you, like, a little event that happened in these characters' life, and it's really nice. Yeah.
Next time I have a nervous breakdown, I'll make sure to watch it.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Sounds really nice. So this next one was by another YouTuber, the Worthikids. Every indie artist and their mama knows Worthikids. Every cool Twitter kid and Tumblr man. All of them know who Worthikids is. He made that clown video. He's made countless others. I don't follow him religiously like everyone else does. If I see he uploaded something, I watch it, and I'm like, holy shit, that looked beautiful.
He's definitely like a prominent figure in the animation community,
he is, yeah. In the non like big leagues section, yeah. Like for smaller.
Like aside from actual showrunners and stuff like that. Yeah.
But this was a complete departure from anything like 2D or anything. Like he just full on made a 3D like project, and like this is one of the if not the only time I've been tricked. I thought it was actually stop motion. I thought it was stop motion. I thought it was just like a lot of dolls or like stop motion or like old timey kind of like effects. There were parts here and there that looked like, oh, okay, he added some like computer animation here and there, so whatever. But no, it was all in Blender. Yeah. And at the end of it, I felt like a fucking fool. I was like, how the fuck did he do this in Blender?
The free 3D program.
The free 3D program Blender, the thing you make Sonic the Hedgehog hentai on. He
What?
I'm not even sure if that's what they use, but whatever. Fucking he did such a good job. He and whoever helped him, if somebody did, because the credits were a little weird. They kind of just credited the person who sang the song and that's it. So I'm assuming it was probably just Worthikids, but I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But it's like set in the Old West, so 10 out of 10 immediately. It's my favorite. Other than that, it just, oh God, it just has this like chill, like really relaxing. I guess it's kind of like your last one, where you're just kind of sitting here watching a skeleton play you a tune, a cowboy skeleton singing a song, and all these little creatures around him are trying to make him happy and cheer him up from singing this like this very kind of blue song. But I don't know, like it's shallow, but it's such a like visual feast. That's a buzzword.
Sure.
That's a buzzword that loves to be used, but it's true. Like this is just so pretty. It's unbelievable that he made it in Blender. It's just like, I don't know. I just really loved it and loved watching it. I've watched it plenty of times before, and it just happened to pop up while I was doing my little mini marathon of shorts. And I was like, just in case some random person, some random friend of ours that's never watched Worthikids, watch it. Watch that one. Dried Up Old Bones. It's really good. And the song was really good too. There's not much else to say. It's fucking Worthikids. You watch him, you know who he is, you just go watch it. So
yeah.
That's about it. It's a good movie. Good movie. It's a good short. Alright, there you go.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your penultimate movie? Short.
It's kind of interesting how we ordered our individual lists because we didn't coordinate it or anything.
Yeah.
Because my next one is also like just a cute little short, no meaning. It was like 3 minutes long or something. It's called Yamcha, and for a little cultural lesson, mini cultural lesson. That's like a Chinese tradition where it's like you and your family all go to like a restaurant or like maybe not even a restaurant. You just eat dim sum and drink tea, which is what the word Yamcha literally means. And you know, it's just a big
drink like Arizona iced tea. You drink that?
It's more like, you know, a jasmine or like whatever tea type of thing. But yeah, it's basically just a big family gathering at like a restaurant. You eat dim sum and stuff like that. So it's like, it's about this little girl, and you know, she's just at her table. She's eating stuff, and she gets to this like one dish called hargao, and she like really wants it, and it's like she picks it up, but then it slips out of her chopsticks because, you know, she's a little kid, she can't use them that well yet. And the entire film is just her chasing after this hargao in like a very cartoonish,
like full-on cartoon.
Yeah, like it's bouncing and it's like hopping and plopping everywhere.
It ends up at a construction site somehow. She's chasing it there.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, she's just running through the restaurant trying to get this thing, and it's just really visually fun and like
really pretty
and appealing. Yeah, of course. And yeah, there's really. It's much like yours, where it's just like the most you can say about it is like...
It almost feels shallow, but it's true. It's like, it's that pretty that I'm willing to be shallow for
it's
this.
Just, like, it just looks like a children's storybook in motion, and it's like adorable.
It's pretty.
And like the movement of the hargao bouncing everywhere is just really fun. And you know, what I like about this film in particular is that it's a little self-indulgent.
Why?
Because Here's the thing. A film like this either ends in two ways. It either has the realistic ending, where it's like, the food is all gross and disgusting, and the character either doesn't eat it, or they still eat it.
Yeah.
Or two, there was a little kid. There was, like, another little kid at the table with her that she kind of acknowledged before she went on her, like, little adventure. So, like, the next logical jump would be she gives it away to the kid.
That would annoy me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but that's not how it ends at all. Like, spoiler alert or whatever to this funny little adventure thing. At the end, she does get the hard out, and it's disgusting and gross. But she's still looking at it like it's the best thing ever, and she's about to eat it. But then, like, a waiter comes over and is like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
There's a little child on the loose, and, like, you know, he basically picks her up, puts her back at her table, and, like, at some point during, like, the little transport, it, like, slipped off of her, like, chopstick again, and she looks at it empty, and she's all sad. But then, like, the little lazy Susan wheel at the dim sum table spins around, and there's, like, one last one left in that little plate.
Yeah.
Or, like, the steamer basket, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And then she gets all happy, and in the beginning, the whole journey started because she was trying to use her chopsticks properly, and it slipped out. Instead, this time she just stabs it right there.
In my mind, I would have just grabbed it with my hand. But stabbing it's pretty good too. It's
because in the beginning she was chastised to not use her hands as well, so that was her way around it.
That's pretty good.
So she stabbed it. She was about to eat it. She sees the other kid across the table, and he also wants it. And she just has, like, a moment of consideration.
She eats it.
Yeah, and then she has this smug little face when she does it too, and I love it.
If you're not gonna be charitable, indulge in the evil.
Yeah,
it makes it taste better.
And the film literally ends with that other kid crying, and it was the kid didn't even do anything to her. She just did it because she wanted it that badly.
This is great endings. That and The Man in the Woods had the best child-related endings. And
yeah, it was just. It genuinely shocked me a little bit when I saw that ending, because short films always are trying to have, like, some sort of meaning to them or whatever.
They feel like they have to, because it's like, why
or like a moral to it. But it made me so happy when she just didn't do that. She didn't eat the gross one, and she got this, and she got what she wanted.
Hell yeah.
So good.
God bless her for being a real child.
And it was great. It was just so fun. It was bouncy. It was colorful.
How do you spell that title?
Yamcha, Y-U-M space C-H-A.
Yamcha. Oh,
Yamcha, yeah.
Reminds me of the guy from Dragon Ball. I really wanted to hump every woman he met.
What?
Sonic blender porn.
No!
What I'm actually talking about, my final short that I watched of my 5 was, I forgot the fucking name of it.
Who's Hungry?
Thank you. You read it while it was there?
Yeah.
Okay. My final short is Who's Hungry, which is one I watched a long time ago. Like a long, long time ago. It was on YouTube. And it's like this black and white, very like sketchy, gothic looking kind of thing.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like the Ice Cream Man guy.
Yeah. I think it's one of those films where it's like you always see like the thumbnail and like title of it.
Yeah. And just like the rest of them, I guess I only watched good ones this time around. I didn't come across a bad one. And this one held up. It held up pretty damn well, just like Timber did. Not that Timber's as old. I'm pretty sure this is like 11 years ago.
It's one of those classics, like Zero.
Like they uploaded
like
them like just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Like not to make money or be in a festival or anything. Maybe they were, I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of like a grim retelling of Hansel and Gretel. I'm sorry. It's a shit joke. It's not as bad as Quibi, but it's bad. Fucking but it's a very like it's just a modern retelling of Hansel and Gretel in a way, but it cuts out the meat of the beginning of breadcrumbs and all that shit. It just starts with a fucking ice cream man abducting 2 children, just right off the bat. One of the kids didn't trust him, and she was like, I don't know. Then the stupider one immediately went up to the ice cream truck and started eating ice cream. And then the man starts offering one, like a really tasty ice cream to the little girl, and she's like, she still doesn't want to go. Her gut feeling is to just go away, to walk away. But she just does it anyway. She goes against her instincts and like goes for the ice cream, and she doesn't even get to the counter before the guy grabs her and shoves her in a car and immediately runs off. And like now those two kids are just like in an ice cube, not an ice cube. They're in like an ice chest or like a freezing chest, whatever, a freezer chest. And now they're in this like fucking humongous guy's house, because when you're a little kid, one big guy might as well be a fucking giant. And once they break out of this little ice chest, they realize that the man is blending a smoothie made out of children, and that's why he got him, because he needs to eat. Man needs to eat.
Who's hungry?
Who's hungry? Yeah. And so the little girl's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. But she doesn't say anything. Like, it's just completely without no dialogue. And the stupid fucking fat kid always like gets them in more problems. Like, they're trying to sneak around the guy. Like, the fat kid waits him up, or he starts eating the gore out of the bucket. Like, the little fat kid eats the gore of the other children, and it's just like, I don't think that means anything. I think that just made me sick. It's just supposed to make me feel weird and awful. And there's already so many allegories as to what being eaten alive could represent, other than just cannibalism and all that. But that's not something we're qualified to talk about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the little girl keeps saving the fat kid, like, repeatedly. Even though, just leave him to die. I would have left him to die. Because I'm scared. I just want to live. I wanted an ice cream, and now I'm going to be eaten. That stupid fat kid keeps getting me in trouble. You can eat him. That's fine. But she's brave, and she keeps saving him. And at one point, the bigger guy, the guy that kidnapped them, he like trips and falls into the blender. And while he's struggling to get out, the little girl just fucking bolts it toward the blender to turn it on. And then she starts grinding the man up. And it's just like, the whole thing just feels like a fairy tale, like a modern fairy tale, since it is like kind of a retelling of it. And while he's being grounded up, he grabs her and like is trying to bring her in with him. But then the little fat kid grabs her hand and saves her. And it's just like we were talking about how there doesn't always have to be messages, but like sometimes when you save people who seem like they're not worth saving, people who seem like they're nothing but burdens, you never know when they can contribute.
Yeah.
You never know when they could be a worth. If that little girl hadn't been so brave and kept saving him, she would have died with the fucking guy in the blender. But he went to go save her. And, I don't know, like, it just ends in a kind of like, you know, it just kind of ends and it leaves you thinking about, it just leaves you with your own weird, awful, gross feelings as to what happened. And the art was just really pretty. The backgrounds did most of the heavy lifting, but the animation itself was smooth as fuck. It was so smooth. It was really nice. And so it kind of had everything. I ended on an all-arounder. It had a fun story that felt like a real fairy tale, like a dark one that sticks in your mind. It had some kind of flyby, like metaphors or not metaphors, but like lessons, like save the weak, try and help out people that might seem like they don't deserve it sometimes. You know, trust your instincts. Don't go against them just because you might gain from it. Something feels bad, just walk away. You know, why did she have to go for that ice cream? She could have been safe at home, but she went for that free ice cream from some creeper guy in a van. She didn't have to.
A little bit of peer pressure.
Yeah, and the peer pressure too. And it's just like,
another kid's doing it.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. Look at him. And it's just how quickly things can escalate. You can be on the street one second and then in a basement the next.
Yeah, it's scary.
And life is scary, and that's what I like. That's what I like about the actual authentic, like, Brothers Grimm or like Aesop's Fables and all that stuff. Like, they could get dark, and there was a reason for that. They were trying to teach kids something and teach people lessons without being the Bible. I don't know. I just really liked it. I thought it was a great short. So overall, I'd recommend all of mine. Overall, Opal is still my like favorite out of all of these, but I think this is the runner-up. It was really, really good. So yeah, I guess it's up to you for your last one. What's yours last one?
All right.
What do you got?
My last one is called Balcony. And this is the one I kind of mentioned to you. That the one that popped up in my recommended, and like halfway through me watching the film, I realized the view count was like 600 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the last time I checked it, it was 700, so I think it is climbing a little bit, but it was like really, really unknown.
Yeah.
It was uploaded relatively recently, like on April 30th of this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So like, 2 weeks ago or something, 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's
And-
fresh.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably one of the reasons why it had such little views. But yeah, it just popped up in my recommended one day, and it was like when we were discussing having these like these short showcase videos.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, perfect. And I was like, and it was good. It had like that same type of quiet melancholy, not melancholy, melancholic. It had that same quiet feel as like My Friend Who Shines in the Night.
Mm-hmm.
But with that film, it was quiet because it was like comfortable. It was like a comfortable type of silence.
Oh, okay.
But this one, it was kind of melancholic, and it was like a little really sad, honestly.
Yeah, and that's pretty great if you can tell
Yeah.
the silences apart that well.
Balcony is basically about a guy who's like alone in his apartment, and he like goes out to his balcony to smoke, and across from his apartment, there's like another building.
Yeah.
And there's like a party happening in it, and like a girl comes out of it, and you can like hear the music bumping, and she like closes it. She's on her own little balcony, and then they just start having like a little interaction and stuff across like this little river that's in between them.
Were they like far away from each other?
Yeah, a little bit, because
Oh.
there's a river in between them.
Yeah, I was asking.
So it's like they couldn't even have a conversation with each other. Theoretically, they could yell across, but the dude got chastised pretty quickly. But like a dude on the street was like, "Hey, it's like late at night, quit yelling," or stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like they just start having like wordless interactions with each other, from each of their respective balconies, and it was just like a bunch of little things. Like they played rock paper scissors, and they're like laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
They started feeding the ducks in the river in between them, and it was just like really cute moments. But there's like this underlying sadness between it all, because it's like they're just both physically and like metaphorically distant from each other.
Yeah.
And like at one point the girl gets pulled back into the party. So she's like gone.
Like literally, she's like someone pulls her back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the dude at the beginning of the film, he ordered a pizza, and then the pizza arrived. And when he picks it up, he pays the guy and everything else. And like then he has this like moment where he looks at his shoes and like his keys, and he's like contemplating it. He has a pizza. He could like have the perfect excuse to go in as well.
Yeah.
Share it with everyone. But then, like, he just decides to close the door again and then eat it in his living room alone. And, it's like an interesting little thing. It's like, he was lonely, he had a nice interaction with like, this girl from across the way, and even though he wanted to go there, he wanted to interact with her more, he ultimately just decided not to. And, again, like, the sound design is very quiet. It's like not really a lot of music, actually.
Like, even when they're having good times, is it that kind of silence where it's like still sad?
Yeah.
Still feel kind of sad.
The only music that you can even like hear is like the muffled music that's in the party happening.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. But then like at the very end, they start fading in like the credit music as the dude is sitting in his living room, his dark living room alone.
Yeah.
It's like this song that's like by Rob Cantor, I think, and the lyrics are like I don't fully remember, but it's like when you're lonely but not alone and stuff. And I don't know, I feel like that perfectly encapsulates the tone and message, quote unquote message of the short film. I wouldn't even really call it a message. I think it's just a tone that it was trying to convey.
And just like the state of mind, like
exactly, yeah, for sure.
People that just you have opportunities and you tell yourself you don't, but you do. And even when they're given to you right up in front of your face, you just don't take them.
Yeah, and
it's sad.
And it's melancholic. It's like it was because you feel so happy in the moment, but then the moment it ends, it's like, wow, I am sad.
I'm sad and very alone.
Yeah, and it was just really good. It was great how that film was able to capture that type of feeling, and like I said, it contrasted so well against the other quiet film I recommended, which is the ghost one. And it's like, it's incredible how it can do that. If a film can do that, then that's great. It's wonderful. And so yeah, it's a great thesis film. It was someone's thesis film for like CalArts, so like congrats to you, man.
Of course.
so yeah, it was really good, and I hope that person gets even better.
It's mistreated in an art department.
No.
No.
But yeah.
Best of luck to everybody on these shorts. Like, they're all great.
Yeah, of course.
Well, at least the ones I saw, you know. Which one would you say you recommend the most?
Probably Fueled, because that was genuinely like a miniature movie. for sure. It had a great beginning, middle, and great story, like, wrapped up. And you know, it was just good at its message too, because again, it's like revenge story.
Yeah.
But it wasn't overly pretentious with it. It did whatever it needed to do and nothing more. And it was effective. It was simple but effective.
Lean meal.
Lean meal? Yeah.
Lean meal. Mine's less of a lean meal, like I said earlier. OPAL is like 12 minutes. That's apparently it's either a lifetime or it's nothing at all. It's hard to tell. I can't tell if people have a short attention span or... Because I see people watching like that, like I said earlier, like, who the fuck's watching these Quentin reviews that are like 18 hours long, and then at the same time they can't stand watching something that's like 12 minutes long. I was like, oh bro, this is 20 minutes, I can't watch this. It's like, oh, this is 30 minutes, oh, this is 8 minutes. It's like, I don't know what's going on with people anymore. I'm not even elderly. I just don't know what they're doing, but... So that you feel it like it's less of a little thing that you're gonna spend time on and it's too short. Like, it's not a movie, why would I watch it? Some people, I don't know. Just have a little marathon, you know?
Yeah,
watch some of these that we recommend.
Watch all of them at once.
Yeah.
My second pick would definitely be Bounty. Because, like, Fueled and Bounty, I feel like those are similar films, but like on opposite ends of the spectrum. One is no dialogue, the other is heavy dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty good.
Neat.
So if I would recommend any of them, I would recommend those two.
Neato. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's our first time looking at shorts. We're gonna try and look at more contemporary shorts and hopefully things that don't just have like fucking what like the Worthikids is on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I tried to pick more unknown ones.
Yeah. So I was like, whatever comes my way. What came my way was HBO Max and then Worthikids and then like other ones that I had seen before that I just felt like talking about. So yeah, next time I'll try looking for some unknowns, and there's a lot of festivals going on, man. You know,
we gotta do our research and find ones.
Yeah, there's stuff going on all the time, so hopefully we can comment on those and then walk out in disgust when something mildly like disturbing happens, like in Cannes with all those fucking pussies that go to watch those. Anyway, the end. Thank you for watching.
This was fun.
Yeah, bye bye.